Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Deputy Secretary, we heard the Secretary Salazar talk about his wanting to help us and want to get the answers, but we also have heard the ranking member talk about requests that were made 8 months ago for which we have not got answers. That really needs to be responded to. I don't care who's in the majority. There ought to be respect enough for this body and this body's oversight that we get answers within 8 months. And not only that, there ought to be enough respect for Congress, within Congress, that when Congress can't get answers, we demand them and don't reward an agency until they comply. So I'm hoping, maybe it's a little bit Pollyanna, but I'm hoping for the future we're going to have a little respect from the Department of Interior and get answers to questions. Also, looking at an AP article, the AP obviously didn't get any respect from DOI, but they had requested information so that they could put together stories, indicate they got information from DOI that Deepwater Horizon was inspected 40 times during its first 40 months after September 2001 when it went into the Gulf, but that more recently the numbers keep being amended by MMS as to how many times it was seen, went from 26 to 48 times reported for the 64 months since January of 2005, and a Freedom of Information request by the AP indicates MMS only released copies of 3 inspection reports. And I know people would love to know, and I know you said you're looking forward to getting the reports and finding out what happened. Why couldn't we just see the records? If we could just see the records, we can read those. As a judge, I frequently had to review evidence myself. And you get people to come in and know what they're talking about, hopefully, and to give you their assessment. But why can't we just say, here's the report, here's the blowout preventer testing that was done, here's the record that it wasn't done, here's what happened, and then we would know, and we wouldn't have to wait from somebody within MMS or DOI to tell us what happened. Couldn't we get those reports, just here's what happened without an investigation and waiting for that?
Well, Congressman, with all due respect, we are being inundated with requests for information at the same time that we are devoting an incredible effort at addressing the ongoing...
Well, and I can understand when you wait 8 months to respond to questions we ask, it really must build up pretty significantly over time. But if we could just get the copies of what has happened, it doesn't do you any good to come in and say we're got all these requests building up when you keep letting them build up over months. Well, my time, one of the problems with having only 5 minutes, let me get to this. We heard Secretary Salazar mention, quote, a prior administration when industry was running the show, and he says the relationship between MMS and Big Oil is arm's length now. And we know we've had hearings in this room. We've had the IG come in, and we got down to 2 people that may have known about that prior administration when industry was running things in 1998, 1999, and they left out the language on the price control for the leases that just made millions for Big Oil and cost our federal treasury millions and millions of dollars. And when I asked the Inspector General, why didn't you talk to these 2 people? He said they both left government service. There's nothing I can do. And I couldn't believe he wouldn't even try to call them and see if they would voluntarily respond, but he didn't. And it turns out one of those went from the Clinton administration to become first Vice President of Health, Safety, and Environment for British Petroleum North America. Then she was promoted to Director of Global Health, Safety, Environment, and Emergency Response for British Petroleum. And then she became General Manager for Social Investment Programs, Strategic Partnerships at British Petroleum. And then last summer, Secretary Salazar said she understands the value of partnerships, so he's now put her with Minerals and Management in the Department of Interior. And so I hope that you'll look closely into that cozy relationship the President has talked about wanting to end. And I'm very concerned that if Minerals and Management is overseeing British Petroleum, just how cozy this has gotten. And I realize my time's expired, but I'm just asking, please look into this. The Inspector General refused, and we have to rely on you to help because Congress is not adequately looking into it. Thank you.
Just for the record, Sylvia Baca has been completely recused from this matter because of her prior employment with BP.
Oh, when you say completely recused from this matter, is that leading up to the blowout preventer failing to work properly?
She's not been involved in offshore energy issues.
Gentleman's time has expired. Gentleman from Wisconsin, Mr. Kahn.